if we work together, bots and humans, we can tear their whole system down.
Oh, I like the way she thinks.
Clap on!
So this is a story about many things, but it's a story about the love of siblings. So I'm wondering if that was something that stuck with you and that had a meaning when you were doing this movie.
Yeah, I mean, look, absolutely. Part of this story is based on a graphic novel, and so the idea of a brother and sister relationship came from that source material, but it really resonated with us. Absolutely, I mean, just the idea that there had been a war, that a family had been broken up by that war, that a sister was on a mission to find her brother in the aftermath of that war. It's just on an elemental level, it's very powerful and empathetic, and that's certainly part of what has drawn us into this story.
I mean, everybody, I do as well. I think you guys have done so many things. You already know everything there is to know, but I'm guessing you always learn. So what did you learn from this movie?
Wow. You know what? I mean, look, this was probably by far and away the most VFX intensive movie we've made. We've made a lot of VFX heavy films. But you know, I think it took an incredible amount of time and patience to execute this film. And so I think if we learned anything, it's, time and patience.
Yeah. And I would also say we learned a lot about Millie Bobby Brown. Even though we knew her well as a performer prior to the film, you know, she's a young actor and she's done some remarkable work, but she's growing. And I think one of the great discoveries of this movie was just simply like what she's capable of as a performer. I think audiences are going to find a lot of new colors and surprises in her they haven't seen before.
For a lot of people are going to tell you that it's very hard to work with family. How do you get along when you are working?
I mean, great. I mean, we've been doing this for so long that, you know, it's like a Vulcan mind meld, you know. We have a lot of the same notes, same thoughts about the work. And when we don't, it's great because it challenges the material and makes it better.
I do have to ask you about the soundtrack because it's on point. How was that part, the choosing of the songs?
Well, we're kids of the 90s, right?
Yeah.
So some of our favorite songs are in there. A lot of it is done in the script phase, and then we'll experiment with it when we're in editorial as well.
Yeah, and those songs became important to us because you look at Alan Silvestri scored the film, and he's certainly one of the greatest composers in Hollywood history, and but the reason why we felt like we needed to supplement his musical work in the film was because we're dealing with this strange concept in this movie where it is both a historical period that we've all sort of either lived through or recognize as a historical period, and it's also a fantasy world. So the way we kept the movie balanced between sort of history and fantasy was by tethering it to history when we needed to. And those songs became very useful for us to ground it in a shared history that people have had.
What was the hardest thing on this movie apart from the effects?
I don't know. I mean, this was a joy to make this movie. We love this film. We love the characters in it. We love the tone of it. We love the message in it. I don't know that this one I would call that hard. It definitely was a movie that took a long time, and we've been working on this film for well over 5 years. So if anything was difficult, it was just the length of time it took.
And then maybe the creation of the robots.
Yeah,
because
that was also fun.
Yeah, no, it was super fun. It was just very involved.
Yeah.
It took many layers to get there. The robots were based on many different elements, from live physical performance that happened on set with a very talented troupe of motion actors that we had been working with. And it started many months before we actually started shooting, where actors were on our practice stage trying to figure out who these robots could be, how they could move, what their personalities were. And Joe and I would go through many different stages with them of exploring what those can be. And then the work that the actors were doing on set would inform our design, our visual design, in terms of who those characters were and how they moved and what their personalities were. So I think it was quite a long, involved process of many different creative types and skills and crafts contributing to how we created those robots.
What 3 words would you use to describe Electric State?
Fun, entertaining, heartbreaking.
Yeah, I mean, those are the 3 perfect words. I'll just go with that.
Cine, música, series, libros, teatro, artes plásticas, gastronomía, todo el mundo de la cultura y el entretenimiento aquí en El Tiempo. Suscríbase al canal de YouTube del Tiempo, que además es gratis, y le mandamos notificaciones de nuevos videos.